For basically all of human history, we've thought of aging as this unbreakable law of the universe. But what if it isn't? What if the secrets to slowing it down, or maybe even reversing it, have been hiding in plain sight this whole time, inside the amazing biology of the animal kingdom?
Okay, let's just start with that quote. We've had emails accusing us of being clam murderers. I mean, how on earth does a marine geologist get accused of being a murderer? Well, it's a wild story that starts on a research boat off the coast of Iceland back in 2006. And believe me, it completely flipped our understanding of what's biologically possible.
And that story, it all comes down to this one number, 507. Just look at it. Seems totally random, right? But what it stands for is a lifespan so incredibly long, it's almost impossible to get your head around. So that number, 507, turns out that was the age of a clam they nicknamed Ming. See, when the scientists opened it up to count its growth rings, they had no idea. They accidentally killed the oldest single animal ever recorded. It was born way back in 1499 during the Ming dynasty, hence the name. And the story of this tiny clam is, well, it's both a tragedy and a huge invitation to uncover the secrets of a super long life.
So today, we're going to take that invitation. We'll kick things off with Ming's unbelievable story, then we'll meet some of nature's other rock stars of longevity. We'll dig into their biological toolkit, see how that's fueling this billion-dollar race to reverse human aging, and then we'll tackle the big one. Is aging just an engineering problem we can solve?
All right, let's start there. To really get what Ming's 507 years means, you have to put it in context. It's one thing to hear the number, but it's something else entirely to really appreciate what it means for one little creature to witness 5 centuries of our history. I mean, just think about this. When Ming was born, Leonardo da Vinci hadn't even started painting the Mona Lisa. This clam lived through the entire colonial era, the founding of the United States, the Industrial Revolution, 2 world wars, and the birth of the internet. All of that human drama quietly recorded in the growth rings of a tiny clam sitting on the bottom of the ocean. But here's what's so cool. Ming isn't some crazy one-off. Not at all. Nature is absolutely packed with creatures that seem to laugh in the face of time. A whole menagerie of the nearly immortal. And by studying them, we might just figure out how to do it ourselves. Okay, first up, the Greenland shark. Picture this thing. It just glides through the dark, freezing cold waters of the Arctic. Most of them are pretty much blind because their eyes have this parasite that just latches on and hangs out for their entire life. It is a slow, harsh, dark existence. And it's an incredibly long one. Using radiocarbon dating on their eye lenses, scientists found one that was about 392 years old. That means it was born around the same time Michelangelo was finishing his statue of David. These sharks don't even hit puberty until they're about 156 years old. Can you even imagine that? And then you've got the longest living mammal, the bowhead whale. These guys can live for over 200 years. Now, here's the really fascinating part. They are massive, with about 1,000 times more cells than you or I have. Logically, that should mean 1,000 times more chances for a cell to go rogue and become cancerous. But cancer in these whales, it's almost non-existent. How is that possible? And the list just keeps going. You've got the naked mole rat, where the odds of it dying literally don't go up as it gets older. There's Jonathan the tortoise, who at 193 is still chugging along. And then you get into the really wild stuff. The immortal jellyfish, which can literally hit the reset button on its life cycle, and the hydra, which is basically rebuilding its entire body every 20 days. It's mind-blowing. So the big question is, how do they do it? And it's not like there's one single magic bullet. Nope. Evolution has handed each of these species its own special set of tools for beating the clock. So let's open up that biological toolkit and see what's inside. Let's take cancer resistance. It's a perfect example of how there are different ways to solve the same problem. The bowhead whale, its strategy is all about repair. It has these super efficient systems that fix DNA damage before it can even become a mutation. The naked mole rat goes for inhibit. It makes this gooey stuff that just stops cells from multiplying too early. And the elephant? Its approach is eliminate. It has 20 copies of a gene that's like a cellular hitman, just taking out any damaged cells. But really, nothing is as wild as the immortal jellyfish. It uses this process called transdifferentiation. Okay, get this. When it gets old or stressed, an adult jellyfish can just revert back to being a baby polyp. The slide says it's like a butterfly turning back into a caterpillar. And that's exactly right. It just starts its life all over again. This isn't science fiction, folks. This is happening in our oceans right now. And the toolkit has so many other cool gadgets. Bowhead whales have special proteins that are like a supercharger for DNA repair. The hydra is basically a perpetual stem cell factory. And naked mole rats, they have this built-in self-destruct system for what we call zombie cells, these old, cranky cells that cause all sorts of inflammation and damage. Okay, so here's the really crucial part. This isn't just a bunch of cool animal facts. These creatures are living, breathing blueprints. And right now, scientists are in an all-out race to translate this animal biology into human therapies. And let me tell you, it's a race that's backed by billions and billions of dollars. The scale of this thing is just huge. By 2024, the global market for longevity ventures hit $8.5 billion. That's more than the entire economy of some small countries. So yeah, this isn't some tiny niche field anymore. It's one of the most ambitious and well-funded frontiers in all of science. And if you look at this timeline, you can see just how fast things are moving, but also that it's not a smooth ride. In just over a decade, we've gone from finding the naked mole rot's anti-cancer goo to the FDA actually clearing the first human trial for something called epigenetic reprogramming. That's a technique for literally resetting the age of our cells, inspired by that immortal jellyfish. But it is definitely not a straight line to success. You see failures, like with Unity Biotechnology in 2025. It just shows how incredibly tough it is to get from a discovery in an animal to a working drug for people. So all of this research, it really forces us to step back and ask a much deeper, almost philosophical question. It's about totally reshaping how we even define aging itself. So here it is. Is aging, as we've always kind of assumed, an inevitable consequence of physics, like entropy? Or, as these incredible animals seem to be screaming at us, is it actually just a biological process, a technical problem that, if we're smart enough, could be controlled, slowed down, or maybe even solved? It's really these two competing views. On one side, you've got the traditional take. Aging is a fundamental law of nature, like gravity. You just can't fight it. But on the other side, there's this new, emerging view, inspired by nature. Aging is just a variable outcome of biology, a technical problem. And that single shift in how we think about it, well, it changes everything. But there's a big, practical roadblock on the path from the lab to your doctor's office. And that's the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. Right now, they don't officially see aging itself as a disease, and that makes it super difficult to run clinical trials for a drug that targets aging in general, which forces researchers to just focus on specific age-related diseases instead, like heart disease or arthritis. So when you boil it all down, what are the big lessons from these ancient animals? First, that biological aging is not some fixed law. These animals prove it. Second, evolution has already solved this puzzle, what scientists call negligible senescence, which is just a fancy way of saying your risk of dying doesn't go up as you get older, and it solved it multiple times. These creatures give us a whole library of proven strategies, and turning those into actual human medicine is officially leaving the world of sci-fi and entering reality. And that brings us right back to where we started, with Ming the clam. After all the research, James Scorse, the scientist who first studied it, said something that's just amazing. He said it's very, very unlikely that Ming was the oldest clam out there. Just let that sink in. It means that somewhere out there, in the cold, dark, quiet ocean, there are probably even older creatures, living archives with even more secrets to share, just waiting. The only question is, how fast can we learn what they already know?